Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to another exciting video, and today we have something super awesome to unbox. Yes, you have read the title right. We are unboxing a Microsoft mixed reality headset, and we have the HP version, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so I've only opened up the first layer of the box, so this is my first time checking it out. So let's see what we have in here. Alright, so first it seems like we have this box, and that is about it. And here's the box itself. So the box is very simple. This is of course the developer edition, and no, it does not include the controllers. The controls actually will be released with the consumer edition of this headset. But yeah, let's open up. Anytime now. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, so seems like that was a bad unboxing, but hey, whatever. Here's what the top looks like on the inside. It seems like we have this padding around. It's made of cardboard, and it seems like the headset is just thrown in there, just like that. We'll take a look at that in just a bit, but first let's take a look at the goodies in here. So what we have here is probably the HDMI and USB cables. Yep, there we go. So USB 3.0 as well as an HDMI cable, and the ending connector goes to the headset, which combines both of those cables into one connector. Warranty and manual and stuff, and that actually seems to be about it. Alright, so this is the kind of unboxing experience you probably expect from a developer edition headset. It's not a consumer edition. All you need is the headset so you can develop games for it. But we are unboxing it, and we're going to be playing around with it, and hopefully I'm going to have a series of videos talking about this thing and sharing what this thing is like and what it's like using, and give you guys an interesting perspective of this headset. So let's take it out. Alright, so this thing is actually smaller than I expected, and man, it does feel nice, and I did choose the HP one over the Acer one because I did feel like it's going to look and feel more premium, especially the headband, and man, this feels really good. Check it out. So it's kind of a textured plastic with memory foam on the inside, so that's awesome. And you do have this dial wheel similar to the PSVR, and it's also similar to the HTC Vive Deluxe audio strap. Alright, so this is the cable that it connects to. So this is the all-in-one cable for the USB 3.0 as well as the HDMI, and that's where it goes. So the nice thing about this is it is easy to detach, and you can store the cable somewhere else and swap out the headset, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, this is what it's like. So one thing I'm probably guessing is that the cable right now, it's pretty small. I heard it was around 2.5 meters or 3 meters. I'm not too sure. I'll put the correct number right over here. But since this is a developer edition, I imagine that the consumer edition might have longer cables. But who knows, maybe they'll sell longer cables. We'll find out later. Alright, so let's take a closer look at this thing. The first thing you're probably going to notice is it kind of looks like a Robocop on the front. It's got this visor and then these two eyes, and it looks pretty cool. It is definitely something that you haven't seen before. So HP logo over here, two cameras pointed downwards, looks like a 45-degree angle or something, and probably a bunch of sensors down here, more sensors on the sides probably, and the HP logo on the top with Windows Mixed Reality. And here it says 1440 2 special computing. The 2 stands for probably 2 displays because each display here is 1440p, and from what I understand, it has a better rendering API kind of thing. So this headset, although it has a high resolution display, whatever runs on it is going to be much more optimized. You're not going to need a super expensive computer to run this thing. You can even run it on Intel graphics from what I've heard, but of course with lower quality. More ventilation right here, and there's a hinge right here, and you're probably asking what that hinge is, and that is because this headset can be worn, and you can easily temporarily put it away while still wearing it just by turning it like that. And that is the killer feature of this headset. Someone walks into the room, you want to talk to them, you don't have to take the whole headset off to talk to them or quickly check on your computer, type something, or browse something. You just pop that open and you're good to go, do your thing, and be back into your virtual surroundings. Moving on down here, we have the headset jack, and I believe this accepts microphone as well as a headset. I'm not too sure. We'll let you guys know later when I test this thing. More ventilation over here, and then we have some very nice padding right here. It's kind of a velvet, but it's not. It's just a sponge. Similar to the HTC Vive one, but this does feel much softer than the one on the HTC Vive. And yes, this is Velcro, so you can replace it or wash it or do whatever you want with it. And then looking inside, we get to the nose room and the lenses and the sensor right there that detects when you have the headset on. So let's go ahead and peel these open. Very nice. And it does look like they are using Fresnel lenses, so similar to the HTC Vive, and we should expect some God rays. And the nose room here does look pretty large, and hopefully this will accommodate most people, which is pretty exciting. And finally, the padding, once again, it feels amazing on the hand, but of course it doesn't matter what it feels on your fingers. What matters is how it feels on your head, and how secure it is, and how easy it is to put on. So this is how you tighten the headset, and this is how you loosen it up. And yeah, so let me go ahead and put it on, see what it feels like, and give you guys my first impressions. And we are back. Alright, so before we talk about the comfort level, I want to talk about the cable that comes with the headset. Initially, when I heard about the cable, I heard that the cable is ultra short, around 1.6 meters, and people were complaining that you can't do mixed reality, you can't walk around because the cable's too short. But it seems like they have changed it, and the cable that we have here is actually 4 meters long. So the line cables that you guys see here are both my HTC Vive as well as the mixed reality headset from HP. So you can see that the cable is plenty long. You can move around, and the HTC Vive is just a tiny bit longer. Maybe it's a meter extra long. I'm not too sure about the numbers right here. But yeah, you can pretty much just move around, walk around, jump, touch the ceiling, and do whatever you want, and still have enough room to move around. So that's good. Comfort level about this thing, let's talk about the comfort level. It is actually pretty okay. It's not bad, but it's also not the best. It is definitely not as good as the HoloLens, because I have tried the HoloLens, I have tried the PSVR, I have tried every other headset out there. Gear VR, OS VRs, all the HDKs from Oculus, and of course the HTC Vive, including the Deluxe Audio Strap. But anyways, that said, it's not bad. It's not a bad strap. It does get the job done. It is pretty secure, and it is pretty easy to put on. And that said, I'm used to the good old 3-strap design of the strap. It's going to be fun getting used to this. But one thing I did notice before even trying out any software, which we'll be trying out in just a bit here, is that there's actually a lot of light leaking going on from under the nose room. And you can tell why, since there is a gap in the nose room. But it seems like it is set up. So the way you set this up, you pretty much plug it in, and you make sure you have the latest updates from Microsoft, especially the Creators Update, and you pretty much just plug it in, and you'll end up with the HP Mixed Reality Headset Setup program automatically installed, or Acer, or whatever brand that you bought. So with that said, this is going to be my first time trying it on, and it seems like it is actually working, so let's quickly check. So right now, basically, it is just working as another display adapter for my computer, so you can see my wallpaper right there, which is this guy right here. And let's go through the setup together. Get started, and blah blah blah, some information, agree. And it seems like my computer meets the spec, which it does, because this thing is supposed to be very efficient at running at very low end hardware. And let's go ahead and click next. You can find your headset. Okay, so what's going on here? Actually, I think I know why it's not working, and that's probably because I have plugged in on my USB 2.0 port. So let me switch that to the 3.0 and see what happens. Goodbye to the card reader, and hello to the headset. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Alright, so okay, I'm not exactly sure. One sec. Tape measure, and I think that's right. Alright, so now let's show your headset where the floor is, so your experience will feel more real. Alright, now we get to set up the boundaries. So let's click next, make sure your space is clear. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Alright, so I got my AC, my lights, and my chair, and a bunch of other stuff under the table there. And I gotta go ahead and clean all that up. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I think that's the best that I can do right now. So let's go ahead and track my room. Okay, start over, beginning of the computer. And let's start like that. Track, track, track. Hopefully it's still tracking. Yep, it's still doing it. Move around. And okay. Come on. Can you read this? Please read. There we go. We got something. Let's save. Plug in your headset with a mic. So I'm going to go ahead and use my HyperX's, my trusted HyperX Cloud 2s. Plug that in. Here we go.
Where you'll come to hang out, play games, and chat with friends.
Alright, so anyways, it seems like I might have to use my keyboard for this. But for now, you guys have got a glimpse of what this headset is like when setting it up and unboxing it. Let's get back to the table. Alright, I know you're a bit disappointed, but bear with me. This is 24 hours later. I tried to record a whole segment for the virtual environment, a whole in-depth video, but I ran into a bunch of issues, and there are still some things that I gotta learn about and talk about. So I promise you there will be a part 2 video, where I'll show you guys exactly what you can experience currently with this headset. That being said, I have a lot to say right now, and good things and bad things, but let's go ahead and get started with the comfort level. So the comfort level here is okay. It's not bad, it's not ultra comfortable, it's nothing mind-blowing. It gets the job done, and this is the type of design that you don't expect to move around like crazy and play action games. Once again, I decided to get the HP one over the Acer since it did look more premium, and it had this dial, which is much easier to work with. And you can take a look at the Acer one, how it looks like. The faceplate is also comfortable, and there's a ton of nose room. I was actually able to have my finger in between my nose and the headset, so that is a very good indicator that this headset can accommodate most people. Now, What really annoyed me about this headset, especially when trying to record my video, other than trying to record the preview window, my controller camera, and my microphone, this headset kept fogging it up. Within seconds of putting it on, the headset just starts fogging up like crazy, and these things will just get fogged up, and I pretty much can't see anything anymore. And just to make sure that it's not just me, I went ahead and put on my HTC Vive, and it took a long while before it actually fogged up. With this one, it gets completely fogged up, and you pretty much cannot see anything. You cannot tolerate it whatsoever. You just can't see anything. That's my major complaint about this headset. Otherwise, just like the HoloLens that I did try before at CVR, the tracking is on point. In fact, it's much better than the PSVR, which is pretty much ancient technologies, cameras and lights. I mean, what do you expect? But this one is also cameras, but what makes this thing special is you don't have a base station to track this headset. The headset tracks itself, inside-out tracking. That's what it is. So it's pretty good, it's really good, but there are two things that you gotta worry about. The first one, since this thing is an inside-out tracking, the headset needs to have something in view to track itself. For example, when you're tracing your environment, I'll go in depth in the next video where I'll show you guys how to actually map this thing, but basically when you're tracing your environment in your room, you're gonna need something that the headset can look at and make a visual representation to track itself. So when it tells you to move the headset around, you cannot jam it like the HTC Vive along your wall and just track and have an environment that is as big as your real life environment. With this one, you're gonna need like maybe a foot or something. It depends of something that it can actually look at and track. If you put it too close to the wall, it will just stop tracking and you'll see a gap when you're tracing your environment. The other issue about this technology is in the future, when the controls come out, how are they gonna be tracked? Are they going to be tracked with a separate base station? But according to the current information, there shouldn't be a base station because it's all inside-out tracking, and that's the whole point of this headset. And most likely, the controls are going to be tracked by the headset itself. I imagine the controls are going to have a bunch of infrared lights, and basically this headset tracks them. And that is where people are talking about and pretty much discussing on how that's going to work and what are the downsides. Well, if the headset is tracking the controllers, there's going to be a big gap. So if you move your controller out of your view, then they won't be tracked anymore. And what it comes down to is you can't touch what you can't see with your controllers. How are they going to get tracked if this headset cannot see them? So these are the two main things that have to get fixed with this kind of headset, especially for the consumer edition. And there are actually two major things that are missing from this headset that I should have noticed earlier in the unboxing. And you probably guessed it, IPD and focus adjustments. This headset has none of that. It does have digital IPD adjustments, but it's digital. And speaking of IPD and the display itself, these are Fresnel lenses, and you really need to have your eyes in the center if you want anything remotely sharp. With the Vive's lens, you have some leeway. With this one, you have to have absolute center. And now let's talk about the display. So these are supposed to be LCD displays, and the resolution is supposed to be 1440 by 1440 for each eye. And it's similar to the Pimax 4K, even in the display quality. And what I mean by that, first of all, like the Pimax 4K, you can barely see the pixels, so that's good. The other thing, which is a bad thing, and that is the limitation of USB power. And that seems like what caused the Pimax 4K to have low brightness, which is a big major issue that I personally had with the Pimax 4K. I found its display very, very dim. And with this one, it is very similar to the Pimax. If you have a Pimax, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's something that needs to get fixed, or they need to find a better workaround, because once again, personally, I don't like low brightness displays. I didn't see much people complaining about the Pimax 4K's display brightness. So the thing is about this thing, it is very easy to set up and just jump right into it. The strap here is extremely easy, and thanks to this cable right here, you can detach it and store it somewhere else and plug it in right when you need it. The program will automatically launch and you will be into your environment. Which, by the way, you're not missing out on much. Is basically Windows 10 in VR. That is all. There are no mixed reality apps available right now, so once I do see one, I'll make a video about it. But yeah, being able to run a headset that can track itself in a virtual room using HDMI and USB power is a big thing, because you can pretty much run it on anything, which I will also have a dedicated video on running it on low-end hardware and seeing how it performs. So that's going to be pretty interesting, so stay tuned for that. But anyways guys, this video has been long enough. Look forward for part 2 of this video, where I'll show you the virtual environment of Windows 10. This headset is going to be a full video, in depth, show you guys everything they can do currently at this time. And yeah, keep in mind this is a developer headset, don't go out and buy it, you're not going to get much out of it. This is a big step forward in VR and mixed reality and whatnot. It does have its ups and downs, but this is what it is right now. So yeah, literally this is 24 hours later, it's like 2:30 a.m. right now. But anyways guys, that is actually pretty much it for this video. If there's anything that I missed, which I probably missed a lot of things, there's so much to talk about, let me know what you want to know in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer it in the next video, in part 2 of this video. And that is pretty much it, so thank you guys for watching, hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe for more like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care everyone.